In this video, I'm going to show you how to make your very own link in bio. And this video is for all my non-coders out there. You do not need to write a single line of code to make something like this. It literally takes minutes, and I'll show you two different ways that you can do it. So let's just get into it. So what we can do is we are at replit.com. I think this is the simplest way to get started. And what you can do is you can type in your prompt. So we're also going to click website over here. By the way, I'm logged in, so you need to log in to use it. It can say something like, create a link in bio. Wait, chef, YouTuber. I want all of my social media chef-like theme on my link in bio. And then enter, and it's gonna work its magic. There are so many different websites like Replit. There's Lovable, there's Base 44, there's Bolt. Like, there's so many different like beginner websites like this. But I really do like Replit, so that's why I recommend it. I like that you can get started immediately. You don't need to download anything to your computer. You just go to the website replit.com. So yeah, that's one of the platforms where you can get started. I would say this is the more beginner way to do it. And a little bit later, I'm going to show you how I created mine. So it took just 2 minutes and you literally have a link in bio. And then you can also easily customize it. So if you want to make a change, you could say something like remove home cook. And as you can see, home cook is gone from over there. So right now, if you click any of these links, so let's say you click to buy me a coffee, it just goes to the general buy me a coffee page. So what you could do to actually an actual URL that you want, and instead you can say, have the buy me a coffee button go to this URL. And then you can paste the URL. And then what we can do is send that in. Okay, so now when you click buy me a coffee, it will actually go where you want it to go. So that's how you can update the links. And then also, if you wanted to, for example, update the photo, what you could do is upload a file. And I could say, use this photo as the Chef Leo photo. And as you can see, it used my photo. Okay, y'all, so this was a link in bio that was created in minutes. So then next, what you could do is you could publish it. You're going to get a URL and you can use that URL, or you can connect it to your domain. So if we had like chefleo.com, you could connect that. But then I wanted to show you the link in bio that I created. I actually made this yesterday, and I think it looks so great on mobile as well. I kind of wanted like a tech desktop kind of vibe. And then when you click the links as well, they work. So it's like, yeah, I really like it. So I'm going to show you how I made, something like this. So I use two different tools. The first tool I use is ChatGPT. So if you're on the Plus plan, like I pay $20 per month, it comes with Codex, so expanded Codex usage. So you might not be taking advantage of it and you have it. So I have the Plus plan. So I was like, okay, let me use Codex. And then I also use Visual Studio Code. So basically, Codex, that is we can call it an AI coding assistant. It's what writes the code, and then where it writes the code is Visual Studio Code. So it's just kind of like, on a Google Doc, that's like where you write an essay. Visual Studio Code is where our AI coding assistant will write the code. So first, what you can do is download Visual Studio Code. And once you have it and you open it up, it's going to look something like this. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to install Codex. So you would go over here, click on extensions. It's like that block looking thing. And then you would type in Codex, hit enter, and then you would click this one. You have to make sure it's the official like OpenAI coding agent. You see the check mark. So get this one, and then over here you would click install. After you click install, you would go through the onboarding process. I have already done that. And then you should see like a chat window appear that looks like this. If you're enjoying this video, definitely subscribe for more videos like this. I feel like a lot of the technical people are taking advantage of like, vibe coding and the AI coding agents, but I feel like not enough non-technical people are. So that's why I'm creating videos like this. So if you enjoy this video, definitely subscribe. Okay, y'all. So right now I took the same prompts from RepleIt and put it in here. But I will say the more specific you get with your prompts, the more tailored it's going to be to you. So, for example, let's say your favorite color is orange. You can actually say, like, let's use orange as the primary color and yellow as a secondary color. If you have any examples of link in bios that you do like, you can also add a photo using the plus sign over here to add photos. So, yeah, you can make it like as long as you want. Literally, I like ramble when I create my prompts. And then something we're going to do here that we didn't do on Replit is we're actually going to go in plan mode just so you can see that the AI is going to ask you questions, just so we can tailor this even more to you. So yeah, let's just get into it. So I'm using 5.5 medium. Over here, you can pick the intelligence. I usually just stick with medium. If it's something I think is going to be difficult, I switch to high. The medium's using my default permissions. And then what you can do is enter. You have to add a project. So let's actually add a project. So what we're going to do is let's X out that, and then we can also close these extensions. We're going to click those two files over here, the Explorer, and let's click Open Folder. And then what we can do is do a new folder, and let's call this Chef Leo Lincoln Bio. Oh, inside. Oh, yeah, that's fine. And then we can open it. Okay. Yeah, trust the authors. Okay, so as you can see, we have the folder name over here. Let's make that a little bigger. And now let's paste that prompt that we have from REPL it. And I also wanted to make sure we're in plan mode. So we're actually going to switch over. Right now it's in chat. Let's go over to Codex. That is very important. And then what we can do is paste it. We're going to click the plus. We're going to enter plan mode and we hit enter. I really like the combination of using Codex and Visual Studio Code. So yeah, that's why I wanted to show you all this way. And it can look a little bit more intimidating just because now you're using two things, Codex and Visual Studio Code instead of just REPL it. But I really like this workflow. So yeah. Okay, so how should the plan handle the actual destination URLs for YouTube, Cookbook, Buy Me a Coffee? So yes, if you want to provide the URLs, you can do that. For this video, I'll just do placeholders. What kind of page should this be? So they said SQL, HTML, fast, portable, static page. I would go with that. I feel like that's fine. What chef vibe should guide the visuals? Playful bistro, bold YouTuber, rustic cookbook. Let's do the recommended. Let's see what Codex is cooking up. Y'all, it really, really does amaze me how much AI can do. Like literally back in the day, I would be showing how to code this like line by line. And now there's really AI that can do it. It's so crazy to me. So then here's the plan that AI gives you. You can take your time to read this. And if there's anything you don't like, you can say no. And you can tell Codex what you want to do instead. But for this, I'm just going to say yes, implement the plan. And whatever question that comes up, what you can do is go with the recommended. Sometimes what I do is I open up ChatGPT, I'll take a picture of the question and I'll be like, hey, can you explain this some more? So that's also a part of my workflow is asking ChatGPT, further questions. So then the next thing you can do is you can talk to Codex and say, how can I view this link in bio? I am not technical. And don't call yourself not technical though, because if you've gotten to this point, sorry, no, I was sick earlier. That's why I can't talk. If you got into this point, you are technical. So it says you can view it by opening this file on your computer. You click the file, it opens up over here. But what you can do is you go over here. So it says Chef Leo link in bio, Chef Leo link in bio. And then I'm going to double click index.html. Okay, so this is what it did. By the way, this is how it looks when it's like on mobile, like a link in bio versus when it's spread out. But it's not bad. Now, there's some things that AI does, like Swap the placeholder links anytime when the real cookbook, latest video, and socials are ready. Like, we would not actually include that text in our link in bio. So that is something you can say to remove. What you can also do is you can say you totally don't like this and do a redesign. And let's actually do that so you can see what that looks like. So I'm going to open up plant mode and I'm going to say, I don't like this at all. I want it more creative. I want links to be instead of the text IG. Now, of course, the more detail you go into this, the better. I don't like it. The AI won't know what you don't like, but I'm just doing this, for the video. It implemented the plan. So it has this Chef Leo link in bio, like open. I don't know why I didn't have that before, but hey, let's open it. Oh, is it not working? Okay, y'all. Well, we'll just go back here. We'll go back to that, the previous file we were at, and we can refresh. Hey, okay. Oh, wow. Oh, I like the brown. That works. So once you were good with it, what you could do now is say something like, and then where are we going to save the code? So, we just don't want it on our computer. We want other people to see it. So we're going to use something called GitHub is where we're going to store the code. And GitHub is amazing. And it's good to store your code on like something like GitHub for so many different reasons. But like, let's say something happens to your laptop, you basically have the code safely somewhere, and then later, if you want to connect the code to like your domain, so like chefleo.com, basically you can do that because it's going to be already on GitHub. I love it. You don't have to say I love it. You can say can, or let's just say save all of this to GitHub. It says, I can save it to GitHub, but two things are blocking me right now. The folder is not a Git repo. Your GitHub login token is expired. Please run this in your terminal. So you can even say, when it tells you to do something, you can say, can you please run it for me? It's so interesting how sometimes the AI changes. Like, I feel like when I was practicing it yesterday, it just did it for me. Yes, I can start the GitHub login flow for you. Okay, yes. Never be afraid to be like, hey, you're my coding assistant, okay? Like, you do it. And, over time too, it's like you'll like, learn as you go. I could show you right now, but if you go to the top, terminal, and you click new terminal, this is where it wanted you to like take this line so you could copy it. And then it wanted you to paste that line here and click enter. So, over time you can learn to do that stuff. But y'all, you're making a website. Like you are making a website. Like that is pretty crazy. So, okay, so now what you could do is you can actually click the GitHub link. It's going to open up and your code is saved. So now what you could do next if you had a domain, so the chefleo.com, you could say something like, I have a domain with Wix. How do I connect my Wix domain to this code? Explain simply and step by step. So then it gives the instructions. If you get stuck literally anywhere, for example, it says if GitHub will not let you enable pages, tell me and I'll help you use another free host. If it's not working, tell them. And y'all, you're going to connect it and get it done. And yeah, I don't know. This is my sister had MySpace like back in the day. So this kind of reminded me of MySpace. Like they call this vibe coding and it can really get addicting, like creating things and stuff like that. If you liked this video, you'll definitely like the video where I use AI to create an app. Bye guys.